or I mean, even if you just use a pump, tell me what you think about it. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What pump are you using? What CGM are you using? Complications, all of that. I think the best way we can learn is by sharing all of our experiences together. So I'm sure other people in the comments will benefit as well. Okay, another episode. Today we have deadlifts with dumbbell rows, and then I'll do some hang / pull-ups at the end. There's a fly in here, so hopefully he doesn't ruin everything. He or she doesn't ruin everything. Other than that, I'm just going to get right into it. But I, unfortunately, am working out a little bit later. It's Saturday. But I don't know if anyone has ever had this happen, but I feel like the past few episodes I've been talking about routine and consistency. And I think the frustrating thing is that recently I've had a little bit of trouble with that in the mornings, which is funny because I've said in my videos, and this has worked for me in the past, I'm not totally just lying, but I've said in my videos that working out in the morning has been really nice for me because it's consistent. Your blood sugars are normally consistent. And that's definitely something that I've seen work. But sometimes, and especially recently, I feel like it's almost been a pattern if I wake up and take my basal insulin and then come right down here to work out, I'll just drop, like my blood sugar will just drop out of nowhere. And it's super weird. Not a fan, hate going low, especially in the morning when you're just trying to start your day. Like there's nothing worse than just being super motivated to get a lot done and then having a low and you have to sit there and treat it for 30 minutes and then wait to start your day. So not super fun. I don't know if any of you have had that. If you have any tips for not having that, that would be great. But some days it's totally fine. My blood sugars are level. Some days I'll be level and then I'll just tank out of nowhere. So I don't know what that is. I will try and figure it out for you guys, but yeah, definitely no fun. So I guess before I get into my classic workout soapbox, again, we're just doing deadlifts and then rows today, and then I'll probably pause the video before I finish with the hangs and pull-ups. But deadlifts and rows, I've had some back problems in the past, so I did make sure to get a warm-up in before I turn the camera on. If you want to see that, let me know. I feel it might not be the most exciting thing in the world, but if it's helpful, happy to share it. I just do a little bit of like light cardio to warm up and then do some kind of dynamic stretching on my back, specifically rotation. My mid back has had some problems, and I've been told that that's largely in part due to like rotational flexibility. So I always make sure to warm up before I do back stuff. Do not want to injure that again. All right. Feeling good. I ask everyone that low question because that literally just happened to me this morning. That's why it's pretty much 8:30 and I'm just starting to work out. Again, not a fan, but you got to do what you got to do. But My Dexcom's on its last limb, or that makes sense. My Dexcom's on its last day of censorship. That's also not how you say that. My Dexcom is about to expire, so it's on its last day, and as such, sometimes my readings are a little off. So I noticed this morning I didn't feel super low, but it was telling me like 60, 50, 40, and then like low. I was like, oof, I feel a little bit low, but not that low. Went and tested my blood sugar manually, and I'll pop the footage because I was at 77. And keep in mind the time on my manual checker is not right. But anyway, I was 77. I still slammed some like grape juice, which is a lot of sugar, and then a little granola bar. So I should have enough in me to get through this workout just fine. But always worries me. Hate going low. Nice. Okay, I think we are into working sets now. Up the weight. I wanted to bring this up too. I just commented on Dexcom posted on Insta that I guess they just posted a graphic and asked if anyone had taken a break from a pump. And I was like, I forgot what my initial comment was, but I said something along the lines of like, if I've never been on a pump, does that count? And then I mentioned kind of my fears of wearing pumps. Right now isn't that bad exercise wise, but especially with running as much as I did last year and then CrossFit and very functional style training, I feel like the activity of that lifestyle is not conducive to having more machines on me. And so I've been worried about that. I'm also worried about, I guess I'm somewhat hypocritical, but I do worry about change and a new system and switching things up. I've looked into the benefits of wearing a pump and they seem definitely worth it. But I'm still in the honeymoon phase. So sometimes my dosages are off and I don't know. I've got all these excuses for not wanting to wear a pump, but I do think it's something I need to experiment with in the future. So if you do wear a pump, let me know what your experience has been down in the comments. I would love to hear it. I need all the reviews and information that I can get. But yeah, if you've switched from injections to a pump, or I mean, even if you just use a pump, tell me what you think about it. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? What pump are you using? What CGM are you using? Complications, all of that. I think the best way we can learn is by sharing all of our experiences together. So I'm sure other people in the comments will benefit as well. But that would be much appreciated. And maybe one of my next episodes will be me trying out a pump. But it still scares me. Like something inside me is like, oh, don't do that. But I need to. Nice. For the sake of transparency, I know these are bumper plates, so you can never really tell how much someone's lifting. But I've got 45s and then a 10 on for my first working set. That was 155. And I probably shouldn't have to explain myself, but again, with my back injuries and just starting to get back into lifting the past few months, I've kept everything super light. So I'm wanting to work my way up in weight, not go for a PR every week. But slowly but surely. And so today, I think my max weight is going to be 185. I'll do set of 155, 175, and then the last three will be 185. So anyway, just for the sake of transparency, you can feel good about your deadlift weight against mine. I'm sure it's more, but I gotta stay uninjured. All right. And then, again, I mentioned my soapbox at the beginning. I do have a few thoughts that came along with my lows this morning. But let me hit this set first, and then I'll get into it. Also, if you're looking for an exercise that you feel in every part of your body, deadlift is definitely one of them. And if you do them right and do them light, they aren't scary. So highly recommend. All right, so we're up to 185 now. I'm just gonna throw 5s on. So this morning, woke up, had my low. You guys know this. But I sometimes it's easier than others. Meaning, if I go low, sometimes I'm like, oh, no big deal. I'll treat it, whatever. Normal. Other days, when I'm just kind of fed up, there's a lot going on in life, and the last thing that I need is a low. I'll start to wonder, like, man, why me? Why do I have type 1 diabetes? Why do I have to live with this? Why do I go low so often? Why me? And totally valid question, I believe. And definitely a lot easier to, I guess, just guess as to what the reason is. And I don't want to get spiritual or religious with any of this, but I do think that part of our humanity is going through difficult things or living through difficult times. And that's something that I've seen with just life in general, and then type 1. That sometimes it's just difficult. There's no reason for it. There's no rationale as to why I wake up and just immediately go low. Nothing, well, maybe there is a scientific reason, but nothing that I've found points to why that happens. And it's just like, why? Why now? Why me? And so I sometimes have to take a step back and just kind of tell myself that, okay, like this is just difficult, and I don't need to figure out why it's just difficult. Sometimes I just need to get through it. Beautiful. And sorry, I had a thought during that set about the whole difficulty thing. Sometimes I think it's good to maybe ask yourself why. Like it's not just, well, got to be careful how I say all this, but sometimes things happen as a consequence of your own actions. So if I was waking up, taking my basal insulin, eating, and then taking a huge dose of fast acting, and then wondering why I was going low, obviously my dose needs some work. So I think it's important to ask why, to maybe get to the bottom of something that you're doing that's impacting your life. But on the other hand, sometimes it is just difficult. And I think the biggest example of that is type 1 diabetes. The biggest example of that for diabetics is, why do we have type 1 diabetes? Because I don't think anybody, maybe I could be wrong, and I'm sure there's some science behind this too, but I'm not sure it's helpful to dwell on it. But like, I got diagnosed at 21. Just talked to someone the other day who got diagnosed at 25. There's diagnoses in children if you're 6 or 8. And it would not be helpful to sit there and wonder why me, when you were just diagnosed with this chronic illness that, for the most part, I don't think you had anything to do with. I remember I actually just posted a video about my story. And let me hit this set. So I just posted a video about my story, my diagnosis, and granted, there was a few things I was doing, maybe diet and health wise, that influenced it, but ultimately, like, I can't look at anything I did, or at least in my lifestyle, that would have just given me type 1 diabetes. Like, I don't think that makes sense, that there's millions of people with this disease or that disease, and they're all living differently, but they all get it. Maybe there is a reason, but again, point I'm trying to paint is, as much as I ask myself the question, like, why me? Sometimes it's really not helpful, and other times it can be. And so I just know that if you're struggling with diabetes, burnout, or you consistently wonder, why me? Why is this happening? It can be really draining and really hard. And I get glimpses of that too. I'll get into these ruts, and then diabetes will flare up, and I'll have lows and highs all the time. And I wonder, man, with everything else going on in my life, this is the last thing I needed. But with that, and in times like that, I really have to kind of force myself to zoom out and think, okay, like, this is honestly pretty normal. I feel like a lot of people have different struggles, and not that we should always be comparing, but like, this is just part of our experience. And it's not like I can go and reverse my diagnosis or switch it to something else or be perfectly healthy. Like, our health is meant to be naturally resistant. And so it's our job to continually push and continually work to be healthy, even in the spite of our bodies and nature and time kind of fighting against us. All right, another set. I got to get better at those transitions. Like halfway through a sentence and then just throw out another set. But all right, that was our last set. Now we're on rows. Anyway, I apologize if I was getting too soapboxy. I don't want to discourage people even more if they're in the midst of this and wondering why, and then thinking that they don't have a reason to ask that question, because you totally do. I think it's totally valid that sometimes when life just hits you with the unfair wild card, I think asking why is a very common thing to do, and it's hard, but I just hope I'm not trying to call anyone out for asking why. All right. All right, first set down. Sorry, I need to see if my wife texted me back. Nothing. Actually, hold that thought. Let me go ask her. Hey, babe. Babe? Where are you? A few more minutes. Well, I've only got like... Okay, thank you. You always gotta make sure the wife is okay. That's probably the most important lesson I can teach anyone on here. All right, another set. All right. Got 2 more of those, and then we'll call it. All right, I'll hop off my soapbox on the whole why thing, but just know that if you're dealing with the burnout, sick of diabetes, it is totally fair to ask why. And it can be a good thing. It can be unhelpful, but I hope everyone's just aware of that. And if you're asking why, just sometimes it takes trusting in yourself in the process, that you can work through it, that you can become healthier with type 1, that you can maintain it well. It's tough, but keep going. All right, wrapping up. Again, just 2 sets left. If you are watching these, please let me know if there's anything else, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to see the warm-ups, if that would be helpful, or if you want me to share my actual workout notes, my handy dandy notebook here. Anything that you guys have questions about, I am happy to answer. But anyway, all right. 3rd set. All right, almost there. Whew. Okay. Last thought of the workout then. And it's actually something I'm just curious about. So for those of you who are pretty active with type 1, working out, hobbies, whatever, just out and about, moving the body a lot. What have you had any problems with, like your CGMs? Like I notice, especially in the summer with swimming, they can either wig out and start giving you false values, especially when you're out in the water and having fun, and I don't know, sometimes they get hit and fall off. But what tips do you guys have, or what do you use to make sure that despite your level of activity, you're able to always stay conscious of your blood sugar levels and where you're at? I have a really hard time forgetting, and this is so bad. Normally I'm pretty good about it, but there have been more times than not where I've forgotten like a low snack, and then I'll get to a place and I'm like, oh man, like I really should stop by this kiosk and just buy trail mix or candy or something to get those sugars up. But yeah, what do you guys do to stay active and stay healthy with type 1? That's something that's easier said than done. And I'm rhyming. Okay, last set. No, we're good. Okay, there it is. Another day down. Classic end of episode speech. Keep going. You got this. Take it one by one.